If you sometimes feel like you don't totally belong here, like Earth is just harder for you than it seems to be for others, you're not broken, you're not too sensitive. There's actually a reason. And once you hear it, so much of your life will finally make sense. You may be comparing this world to a realm where time doesn't exist, love is constant, and God's will is very clear. See, Earth just feels, well, it can just feel harder for some souls. I mean, do you ever feel like you just are not all that? I mean, I sure do, like not all that excited about this place the way others seem to be, where, there's a lot of beauty here, but the beauty is in the experience, not in the physical things, where time just feels kind of confusing and you don't really relate to it. Then there's things like all the stuff that goes with a body, aging and disease, and things like money, which can feel kind of foreign, like a game you didn't really design, though you may be really good at it. It's just like, what are we doing here? What is the point again? Maybe boundaries are hard for you. They're just not your strong suit. Maybe you're just used to being one with all. And then there's that free will thing where it's like, honestly, you're just not a fan. Like, you just wish that God would descend upon a billboard and say, go thou this way. You would totally do it. But it is hard. It can be so hard to discern the highest choice and all the density and distraction here. Maybe you have extreme empathy, sometimes too much, where you just feel everything. Know what others feel, you feel. There might be a longing for somewhere else, a kinder, gentler place. And you know that place exists, but you're not really sure where that is, but you want to go back there now. And any of this fits. There's nothing wrong with you. Again, you might just not be only human. You might be an angelic immigrant. Stay with me here. The angelic realm predated Earth by eons. And when we incarnated here, for many reasons, which I'll tell you about later, we had to forget that realm to fully engage here. But now we're in a wondrous time where a portal is open and we can remember our archangelic, I'll tell you why archangelic rather than angelic, selves, acumen, and gifts, and bring it all present. That open portal is why Earth can feel like a struggle, because we're subconsciously comparing it to, well, yeah, to a kinder, gentler, more heavenly realm. You see, in the angelic realm, there's no time, there's no space, there's no physicality. On Earth, we are constrained by both. Now, there's a divine purpose to time and space, but it can feel restrictive. In the angelic, God's presence is constant. Angels remember God with every breath, source, divinity. On Earth, God can feel like a holy longing. In the angelic, your purpose is very clear, right? You know what your purpose is. You're one with your purpose. You keep marching towards your purpose. God's will is disseminated to you by that convenient archangel above you. And love, completely unconditional. You're in a collective. You're one with all. Here on earth, gosh, we have to choose love when everything inside of us and outside of us presses upon us to choose less. And perhaps the most beautiful of all, you're in a collective consciousness, not only with Source, but with each other. You're never lonely. There's no againstness until you evolve to an archangel, and then you might start to fight battles for God, but not just when you're an angel. You evolve to free will when you're an archangel. And when you evolve to free will, that's when you're a co-creator with God. And then evolution moves along a lot faster. That free will is what qualifies you to come here in this level. It's also the hardest part. So why on earth did you come here? And I do mean that literally. For an angel to evolve to an archangel, that can take millions of years. I mean, again, free will is hard. You're not always one with God, always surrender to God. You have to choose to surrender to God, even as an archangel. Many freshly minted archangels chose to incarnate on earth because they learned free will much faster here. Souls actually line up to get here precisely because it is so challenging, but then you grow so much faster, right? And here you also experience the soul realm, that pure spark of God, more immediately than you can in non-physical realms. There's also tremendous spiritual support in this realm because it's so hard. And you came here to be of service, to bridge heaven and earth, not to escape earth, not to judge it, though trust me, I understand, but to really bring the celestial more into the physical, to spiritualize the physical, to spiritualize the physical you, celestial being you. I believe you volunteered to be a living, walking bridge from heaven into earth, the angelic into the human, because the realms are merging. The human and the angelic are merging. So, beautiful earth archangel, the way to exist and persist on earth as a barely disguised celestial being is to awaken to your archangelic ancestry. So you don't have that celestial ache, which when you open up to your archangelic ancestry, when you open up to the spirit that is present here, you realize it's not about going back, trying to squeeze into your pastel robes where your only job was to praise God, whom you never forgot. It's about bringing all that beauty and divine remembrance here, manifesting all those beautiful qualities of archangels that we all love, to experience heaven on earth, and by your experience, to bring more heaven into earth. When you're consciously aware of the angels and your own angelic nature, then you can utilize the archangels more, and they can use you more, utilize you more to be a conduit of divine intent. Also, you start to accept yourself more. You accept this level more. You find the beauty in this level, and you realize that you're different. And a wise person said, different is better than better. And so you fully accept how you are and realize it's just that I'm not completely from here. It's why I'm different. But that difference is there's a way God moves through you, that it, through all of us, through every individual, that it does not through any other. And we need everyone to be fully manifesting their own divinity. So when you open up to your angelic heritage, you have a few thousand or million angels as your constant companions. You learn to be grounded, rooted, because now this level is celestial to you, and winged. You stop trying to be fully human because you're not, and you start being what you actually are, a bridge. You know, I have had a lot of stories of this, but I'll tell you one that's a little embarrassing. I was walking with my mother shortly after my biggest angelic awakening, which was around age 23, and she was visiting. We were walking well high above the Hollywood sign, looking down on this beautiful icon, and I told her about my angelic awakening, and she went totally pale, and I thought, oh my God, she thinks I'm crazy. And then tears started streaming down her face. And she said, oh, babe, I'm so sorry. Someone, I don't know, God, an angel, visited me when you were a baby. And they told me you were an innocent, that you wouldn't get this level because you were one of God's own. And that your mom, was supposed to teach you about things like time and money and people and the dramas of the physical world. I got so distracted by the drama of my life, of our life, that I forgot. I didn't do it. It's true, she didn't. And I hugged her and I said, it's okay, Mom. I'm muddled through, sometimes on my hands and knees. But you see, I understood now why. why it was harder for me. Even my mother, when she heard this kind of outrageous story, she got the truth of it. And then she had her own angelic awakening. It's in my book, Your Angelic Ancestry. She really got it she got it through her life, but especially on her deathbed. And you see, don't wait till then, because it allows you to open to a magic of life you couldn't even imagine, right? And it allows you to sacrifice the struggle to open to celestial help. So for me, I can be in complete despair because I've gotten too bogged down with the density of this level. And when I open up and allow the messages of the angels to flow through me, because angel means messenger of God and you are a messenger of God, I move from complete despair to bliss that fast. Once we tip our countenance to the heavens, heaven tips its countenance and scoops us up into God's arms, even while we engage and fulfill our karma here. And most of all, while we fulfill our dharma, our service, to be a celestial bridge. If this resonates, at all, probably sounds a little weird, I don't blame you, but if it resonates at all, you are very likely an archangelic immigrant. So what a gift you are to this world. I want to take it a step further. I have a free guided meditation, Connect to Your Guardian Angel. That's really a first step in connecting to the angelic very specifically, which helps you open to your angelic heritage and then to great archangels. And then I have lots of free videos and resources. All the links are below to my website, etc., so that you can start to open up to who you are and realize you don't have to choose between heaven and earth anymore. You don't have to die to experience that divine bliss and liberation. You get to have both. Welcome home, Angel.